The purpose of the day is very well laid out in today's liturgy. We have only to see if we can find a purchase within it, if we can find that place where our ongoing stories interact with God's ongoing story. We might begin, as we do each year on this day, with the words of Jesus from the Gospel according to Matthew. Of special resonance is the exhortation to be quiet in giving. The Jesus that we encounter in Matthew seems to relish hyperbole, often a very humorous hyperbole. And when he swings the spotlight upon those whom he calls hypocrites, and he warns us about their behaviors, we understand no one is actually dragging a physical trumpet around just to announce their good deeds. It's a funny image on such a serious day. And in the same way, when Jesus advises us not even to let our left hand know what our right hand is doing when engaged in the act of charity, we can easily hear and understand it is simply rhetoric. And not to object to this hyperbole with too literal a reading, but there is a little science to blend with this theology. There's a part of the brain that has been termed the homunculus. Homunculus is Latin. It means little man. It is so named because it contains a map of the human body. More accurately, a map of the sensory and motor neurons in each part of the body. As it turns out, your hands take up a good deal of your homunculus. The sensory nerves from your hands terminate over large areas of your brain, keeping you alive and out of trouble as you use them all the time. Along with the face and lips, the hands are the most sensitive parts of the body. If your homunculus were a map of the United States, your hands would be at least everything west of the Mississippi, including Alaska. My point is that it is hard not to be aware of what your hands are up to. We are hardwired for it. The left and the right, they really should be in perfect communication and coordination. So to map this metaphor back over onto the words of Jesus, we are simply hungry for recognition and for adulation and for the prestige and the praise and pleasure that are heaped upon us when we give, either by others or by ourselves in the stories we tell ourselves. When we give in our minds, it can put us in the driver's seat. It can put awards on the wall. It can place us into positions of power, and that has social advantages. This is not an accusation, it's a fact. It's the human condition. And so the base part of our minds has no need for hidden altruism, except for all the little bumps of dopamine and oxytocin and serotonin. So when Jesus advocates for the deepest possible humility, he is asking us to stretch far, far beyond our native and base nature. Pure religion at its best is not a religion of stasis and comfort. It is a necessary evolution of heart, mind, and soul. Following Jesus into a land like Lent is like strapping yourself into a taffy pulling machine. So much of what we do in the course of a day is a form of giving. Jesus is asking us to interrogate our motives, to move to the simplest possible place, and to set aside all the internal narratives about how great this makes us and be content with what is, without hope of personal gain of any kind. Let the gift you give just be the gift, and that's all. Perhaps even our internal wiring can be rewired to some degree. Meanwhile, the truth remains: nothing worth doing is easy. May the stark and simple beauty of this Lenten time be yours. Thank you for following Jesus. I look forward to the weeks ahead. Amen.